Quinta dos Poços is located in the Douro demarcated region, in the village of Valdigem, county of Lamego. It lies upon the left bank of the river Douro, in the area of World Heritage. It is called dos Poços, of wells, because when the rain is intense, multiple springs sprout in its soil. It is one of the oldest in the region. The house dates from 1764, only 7 years after the Marquis of Pombal classified the region as the first demarcated and recognized region in the world. It is a typical rural manor house with a chapel and 2 floors. The upper floor was used for housing and mills and the lower for wine storage because at the time, the use of gravity was fundamental to the mobilization of wine. The crest is of the Pereira Leitão family. In the middle of the 18th century, it was one of the richest families in the city of Porto and the Douro region. The Quinta has a superb view over the Douro River, the Marão and Alpão mountains, and the modern town of Peso da Régua. Given its strategic position, French troops under the command of General Loison, also known as the One-Armed, occupied the Quinta on 20th June 1808, at the time of the First Napoleonic invasion. It has 61.8 acres, 51.9 of which are vineyards, 7.4 of olive groves and fruit trees, and the rest occupied by houses and roads. The vineyard is fully mechanized, placed in trellises in standing vineyards or in terraces according to the slope. Terraces occupy 70% of the land and the remaining 30% are in vertical lines. The Quinta has 9 varieties which are characteristic of the region: Touriga Nacional, Touriga Franca, Tinta Roriz, Tinta Barroca, Tinta Francisca, Tintucão, Sozão, Dozelinho, and Rufet. The first 4 are the most abundant. They differ from each other on issues as diverse as alcohol, date of maturity, tannins, acidity, giving the wines their most striking features. For example, Touriga Nacional is the most famous grape in Portugal, and its wines have an intense aroma and high complexity, are full-bodied, with noble tannins and age very well. The Tintucão is a variety of high quality and produces wines with flavors of spice. Tinta Francisca generates remarkable wines by the perfume and persistent fruit. Thus, the mixing of different varieties in appropriate proportions enables to obtain and select wines of superior quality. The harvest is the culmination of the work done throughout the year. As the different varieties are perfectly arranged in individual plots, it is possible to harvest each of them in the more appropriate occasion and make different lots of wine according to the preference. The grapes are cut and placed in boxes of about 20 kilos to avoid crushing. Once in the winery, the grapes are selected in the sorting table. Afterward, the berries are separated from the stem and crushed in a crusher destummer. The grapes already crushed pass to granite mills where they are trodden by foot for hours on consecutive days. After fermentation starts, it is controlled by a cooling system. Regular measurements of temperature and density of the wine allow the monitoring of the transformation of sugar into alcohol. After the fermentation, the wine is sent to storage tanks where it stays for a few months before aging in wooden barrels for 12 to 24 months. Oak barrels of various brands with capacities of 225, 300 and 500 liters are used. The difference of the barrels and their toast grant the wine the desired qualities. Since setting the time for harvesting until the shipping of the bottled wine, the technical decisions are entrusted to Duplo PR, a company owned by the winemakers Pedro Sequeira and António Rosas. The partnership that the Quinta has with their winemakers aims to achieve markedly superior wines. The work developed by the winemakers covers different areas, such as physical, chemical, microbiological and sensory, which helps to carefully establish the patterns and the profile of wines. The process by which wine goes from birth until its release is vast and distributed in time. Fermentation control, squeeze, setting the stage time, fill, paste, filter, and stabilize should be highlighted as some of the tasks carried out by winemakers with expertise and detail. In addition, to project good wine is still necessary laboratory tests and organoleptic tests. The wines are bottled, the bottles labeled, capped, and finally placed in boxes. These are the ultimate steps in which are valued above all the type of bottles and capsules and the superior quality of corks and labels. Quinta dos Poços have cautioned a policy of quality assurance, accuracy and innovation in order to meet market requirements. Since 2002, when the production of bottled wine began, Quinta dos Poços wines have been awarded prizes in national and international renowned wine competitions, having won 1 gold, 4 silver and 5 bronze medals. These prizes allow measuring the quality of wines and encourage going further. Quinta dos Poços wants to bottle every year between 40,000 and 60,000 bottles of upscale wines, if possible 80% premium, to continue participating in international wine competitions for marketing purposes and for quality measurement, to promote visits by opinion makers, to maintain personal relationship of proximity to all its customers, and to export 70 to 80% of its wines. Being concerned with the production of wines of excellence, Quinta dos Poços does not forget the social and environmental aspects. It seeks to ensure the right to health and safety of their employees and support them in their personal and professional development. But that's not all. It also searches that the relationship with all its business partners is developed on the basis of transparent procedures and respecting the contractual terms negotiated. Regarding the environment, Quinta dos Poços is aware of the concerns expressed by society nowadays regarding natural resources. For this reason, it has enrolled in the Association for the Development of Douro Viticulture, ADVID, and through it, in the program of integrated production. This is a program that uses processes and mechanisms of natural regulation in order to ensure the improvement of soil fertility, biodiversity, and reducing pollution. The integration of this program involves also obedience to certain farming practices, of which are examples the application of pesticides only when approved and always at a minimum distance of 10 meters from the waterline, the periodic analysis of the land and the requirement of waste management. Finally, Quinta dos Poços thanks all its colleagues and friends who allow them to work with commitment, sense of mission and the desire to produce better and better.